Overcoming bad habits. Our lives are a reflection of habits more than our education. After seeing the movie Conan the Barbarian, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, friends said, "I'd love to have a body like Schwarzenegger." Most of the guys nodded in agreement. This morning we're going to read Rich Dad Poor Dad, the background on the Zoom. If you are on BIGO and confused why there is no nice background, that would explain why. So in today's reading, let's get into the reading and get ready for an amazing last day of the week with some real focus on those goals. Today we're actually talking about overcoming bad habits, which is the little section that we are reading about today. Let's get into it and get your day off to a great start. Overcoming bad habits. Our lives are a reflection of habits more than our education. After seeing the movie Conan the Barbarian, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, friends said, "I'd love to have a body like Schwarzenegger." Most of the guys nodded in agreement. "I even heard he was really puny and skinny at one time," another friend added. "Yeah, I heard that too," another one said. "I heard he had a bit of a habit of working out almost every day in the gym." "Yeah, I'll bet he has to." "Nah," said the group cynic. "I bet he was born that way. Besides, let's stop talking about Arnold and get some beers." This is an example of habits controlling our behavior. I remember asking my rich dad about the habits of the rich. Instead of answering me outright, he wanted me to learn through example as usual. "When does your dad pay his bills?" Rich dad asked. "First of the month," I said. "Does he have anything left over?" he asked. "Very little," I said. "That's the main reason he struggles," said Rich Dad. "He has bad habits. Your dad pays everyone else first. He pays himself last, but only if he has anything left over." "Which he usually doesn't," I said. "But he has to pay his bills, doesn't he? You're saying he shouldn't pay his bills?" "Well, of course not," said Rich Dad. "I firmly believe in paying my bills on time. I just pay myself first, before I pay even the government." "Or what happens if you don't have enough money?" I asked. "What do you do then?" "The same," said Rich Dad. "I still pay myself first, even if I'm short of money. My asset column is far more important to me than the government." "But," I said, "don't they come after you?" "Yes, if you don't pay," said Rich Dad. "Look, I did not say not to pay. I just said I pay myself first, even if I'm short of money." "But," I replied, "how do you do that?" "It's not how. The question is why," Rich Dad said. "Okay, why?" "Motivation," said Rich Dad. "Why do you think we complain louder if I don't pay them? Me or my creditors?" "No, sorry, who do you think will complain louder if I don't pay them? Me or my creditors?" "Your creditors," excuse me. "Your creditors will definitely scream louder than you," I said, responding to the obvious. "You wouldn't say anything if you didn't pay yourself." So you see, after paying myself, the pressure to pay my taxes and the other creditors is so great that it forces me to seek other forms of income. The pressure to pay becomes my motivation. I've worked extra jobs, started other companies, traded in the stock market, anything, just to make sure those guys don't start yelling at me. That pressure made me work harder, forced me to think, and all in all, made me smarter and more active when it comes to money. If I had paid myself last, I would have felt no pressure, but I'd also be broke. And this is so absolutely true. So often, we feel that everybody else is more important than us. There are so many times when I am running a mastermind and the people in the group will say to me, "Oh, I didn't achieve anything this week. Oh, I've procrastinated. I've done this." They've done something. They have still gotten something done. They still learned something. But we put ourselves down so quickly and so easily. And it's the same with paying ourselves. So we feel so highly and we're so respectful of the government that we will pay them first. We feel so respectful for everybody else. But the person who needs to grow, the person who really needs to be able to look after themselves in order to be able to give to the government, in order to be able to pay the creditors, is me. So if I'm feeling bad, if I am not earning extra, if I am not earning enough, if I'm not respecting myself, then I'm not going to be able to work well. I'm not going to be able to earn enough. I'm not going to be able to get that raise because I'm feeling down on myself. We need to love ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to do all of these different things for ourselves first. And it's the same with paying ourselves. When the money comes in, If we pay ourselves first, if there is not enough money there, then the creditors are going to complain, and we don't want that. We feel very uncomfortable when that happens, but we've taken care of ourselves, and now it's going to help us to grow. If I am earning 1,000 and I pay myself, let's say I've earned 1,000, I pay myself 300, and that 700 isn't enough to cover my income, my expenses, then I am going to have to find a way to grow. I'm going to have to find a way to either get a raise, get a different job. I'm going to have to find a second income. I'm going to have to find a way to start investing, but I can use that 300 to be able to start investing. If I always pay everybody else first, then I'm never going to have any money for investing for myself. So it becomes extremely important to pay yourself first. And it is one of the best growth tactics that I could ever share. And Robert Kiyosaki obviously feels the same. Because when you start to pay yourself first, you show yourself that self-care, and you also start to find that growth. So it is the fear of the government or other people you owe money to that motivates you. That's right, said Rich Dad. You see, government bill collectors are big bullies. So are bill collectors in general. Most people give in to these bullies. They pay them and never pay themselves. You know the story of the 98-pound weakling. He gets sand kicked in his face. I nodded. I see that ad for weightlifting and bodybuilding lessons in the comic books all the time. I think that's an ad about a little wimpy kid who gets sand kicked in his face. And so because of that, he gets really upset, and he actually goes and gets lessons and is able to stop people from bullying him. Well, most people let the bullies kick sand in their faces. I decided to use the fear of the bully to make me stronger. Others get weaker. Forcing myself to think about how to make extra money is like going to the gym and working out with weights. The more I work my mental money muscles out, the stronger I get. Now I'm not afraid of those bullies. And this is what Rich Dad taught Robert Kiyosaki when he was getting him to work for free in the shop. So Robert Kiyosaki was going in, he was getting work done. He wasn't getting paid, but he had been used to being paid, and now he didn't have the ability to go and get the things that he wanted. So his brain decided to help him out and help him grow and help him to find new ways of being able to generate income. That's when he discovered those comic books. That's when he discovered that those comic books go back to the manufacturer, or the covers go back to the manufacturer, and the remaining book gets thrown out. So he was able to take those remaining books and start renting them out to his friends as a kind of comic library. And he was able to get amazing results from that. So paying yourself first is the exact same thing for you. First of all, you're looking after yourself, and you feel that you can see your asset column. You can see your assets. You can see your savings. You can see all of that going up. I will never forget the first time one of my coaches got me to do this. So I had a cafe, and I wasn't paying myself at all yet. I thought I need to keep investing and investing and investing into the cafe. The more I put in, the more I'll get out later. And later never came. I just kept putting everything that we earned straight back in every single time. Eventually, my coach says to me, start paying yourself. And I thought, well, there's never enough left over. So I made a direct debit, and I said, okay, this week I'll pay myself 1,000 extra. And all of a sudden, at the end of the week, a lady came and requested some catering. And we didn't have that much catering in the business yet. So this lady comes and she requests catering. And she was willing to pay $1,000 for this catering order. All of a sudden, we had the extra 1,000 that I needed to be able to pay myself. So the money came in. And in this case, it was as if the universe helped. Sometimes you need to put in a little bit of extra effort, or you need to find an extra income and put in a little bit more effort. But in this case, it was very, very effortless. And this went on for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I was paying myself 1,000. And then out of that 1,000 that I was paying myself, I was also paying myself by putting money into a long-term savings account, into a financial freedom account, into a play account and an education account, and I was saving for charity. And I took that money and kept accumulating it. And all of a sudden, I had money to put into the stock market. Had I kept putting it all back into the cafe, yes, I would have been able to potentially also reach my goals that way. but I had a better feeling. And that is what I believe kept that $1,000 coming in every single week. So you need to look after yourself. You need to do things to make yourself feel good. Because when you're feeling down, and this is something that I put into a mini course that I'm creating, that I'm teaching to girls. And that mini course will show you why your brain does this and how it works and how you can use these things to your advantage. So pay yourself first, and you will start to see that money accumulate. And I'll never forget the time that I was walking through the Queen Victoria building. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was walking past the Vodafone shop, and I opened my bank account, and I looked, and I saw that my financial freedom account had $1,000 in it. I thought, now I have enough to be able to start investing in shares. And then I had a look, and I saw I had $1,000 in my education account, and I was able to go and attend a certain seminar that I'd wanted to go to for a while. And I had $1,000 in my long-term savings account. So doing this makes you feel extremely good. So I would highly recommend you also pay yourself first. Let's have a look. I like what Rich Dad was saying. So if I pay myself first, I get financially stronger, mentally and physically. Rich Dad nodded. And if I pay myself last or not at all, I get weaker. So people like bosses, managers, tax collectors, bill collectors, and landlords push me around all my life just because I don't have good money habits. Rich Dad nodded, just like the 98-pound weakling. And I'm going to quickly finish because there's like half a page of overcoming arrogance. So we'll finish that one, and then we finish the chapter. So 2 more minutes and we'll finish the chapter. Overcoming arrogance. What I know makes me money. What I don't know loses me money. Every time I've been arrogant, I have lost money. Because when I'm arrogant, I truly believe that what I don't know is not important. Rich Dad would often tell me. I have found that many people use arrogance to try to hide their own ignorance. It often happens when I'm discussing financial statements with accountants or even other investors. They try to bluster their way through the discussion. It is clear to me that they don't know what they're talking about. They're not lying, but they're not telling the truth. There are many people in the world of money, finances, and investments who have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Most people in the money industry are just spouting off sales pitches like used car salesmen. When you know you are ignorant in a subject, start educating yourself by finding an expert in the field or a book on the subject. And this is another one that I'm going to definitely agree with. There are times when I have been very much open to asking questions. And there are times when I think that I already know something and I don't ask as many questions. And I implement based on what I think I know. And then I find out that I didn't know as well as I thought I did. And that has always led to disaster. So similar to what Robert Kiyosaki talked about here, it always leads to disaster. So whether you think you know a subject well or not, take the time to go in a little bit deeper and see whether you really know it or not. Even if you think you know it, ask questions and see if you can learn more about it and see whether the information that you have actually gets you the results or not. And don't say, well, I know it, I'm not getting the results, but I'm going to keep going. If you're not getting the results, ask more questions. See if you can find out more about it. Find out what other people know that you think you know, that you found out that you don't know, so that you can actually get the good results out of it. Okay, we're going to leave it at that for today. I hope you enjoyed and feel motivated based on the reading, and that you have some things that you can implement for today in order to be able to improve your life and get better at increasing your finances and becoming a better investor. If you would like to see the other videos, if you'd like to go back to the beginning and start reading Rich Dad Poor Dad together with me and get my commentary and ideas and examples, then you can do that at the Passive Cashflow Club, and we would love to see you. We also recently started putting up some blog videos and some explanation videos on certain topics like credit cards, whether you should get them or not, why the experts can't agree on whether you should get a credit card or not. And we are going through the Cashflow Club to ask what kinds of questions you have, and feel free to also get in touch to let me know what kind of questions you have that you'd like me to answer about finance and investing, so that you can get the information you need to start getting improvements in that area of your life. If you'd like to know more about either the Cashflow Club, or you'd like to know more about or get in touch with regards to some questions that you might have, then feel free to get in touch on Instagram. You can see what I'm up to. You can send me a message and ask about the Cashflow Club or ask any kind of questions that you might have. And you can find me there at business_team_6_official. And I would love to get to know you. I really appreciate you being here. Mladen on the Zoom, who is a very ardent fan who's here every single morning. And many of you who I've started to see pop up more regularly on BIGO whenever I'm going through and following at the end. There are always a couple of people that I'm already following who must have already been a couple of times. I got a thumbs up from Mladen, so thank you for that. Have an absolutely amazing day today. Thank you so much for coming. Look forward to getting in touch and getting to know more of you. Running more amazing cash flow sessions like we've been doing recently, which have really been impacting and creating amazing opportunities for people. The 2 children that I am teaching that is now turning into a mini course that will be able to help you start or improve your investing. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again on Monday. Have a great weekend. And remember to keep learning so that you can invest better and make greater profits. So thanks again, and I'll see you on Monday.